Hello.
What's up, everybody?
Hey-o. How about this?
We were doing a little test on my page earlier, but now we're here on Jude's page, my page, WDRB Mornings, wherever you're joining us from, maybe the WDRB YouTube page. We're happy you're here.
Social pages all lit up.
Yep.
Live weather. This is new. We're in our streaming studio and pretty excited about
You
this.
guys may remember this. This is from our OTT show, and now we changed it over to doing some weather stuff. We're really excited about it. Mark got on yesterday, showed you a little something around 8 o'clock. Jude and I felt like he couldn't take all the airtime on here. We got to get in now.
In the cookie jar,
Yep.
right?
And we want to get a little bit of rain in here.
We have quite a bit of rain chances for weeks upon end.
Let's show you guys.
We could not find any rain in the forecast other than maybe one county here, one county there.
Yeah, for a long time.
Drought has gotten worse, and after last night, Kentucky involved with rain and thunderstorms, this pattern is looking much more ripe. We're probably going to get a few more overachievers when it comes to locally heavy rain. Last night, we overachieved with some of the downpours, and that's good. It's not great in terms of affecting outdoor plans.
Right.
Friday night, for example, you're looking at high school football, U of L taking on James Madison, and recent trends showing up with thunderstorms. But we have to take it one at a time, Matthew. What we have right now on the radar, there's an arc of thunderstorms forming up north ahead of tonight's cold front.
Right.
And this is going to mean some problems.
Absolutely. So today, we're on the dry side, and we have been for a long time. Yesterday was the first time that we had rain, I think, in 14 days. 14 days, which a lot of folks, I think, would be surprised by what we're about to show you here because we have been in drought. We've seen the abnormally dry and the moderate drought conditions return to the area. But then you look at this graphic right here and you're like, okay, well, we're more than 5 inches above on the year. Where did all of this rain come from? Well, Jude, we know where it came from. The beginning of the year, February, April, where we had those 2 flood events across the area, we had 17 inches of rain just from those 2 months alone. April almost gave us 10 inches of rain, which more than doubled what it should be.
I said to Matthew, because he was in the weather center putting this graphic together, I said, man, I don't think you updated it right. I said, are you sure? Because it shows that huge surplus of about a half foot. And he's like, remember all the rain at the beginning of the year? I was like, yeah. I was like, I didn't think it was that high. I hadn't looked in a few weeks. He's like, yeah, we're still that much above. So
yeah,
it's legit. It's just all bundled up over these last few weeks that we just haven't been able to get anything.
Right. In fact, I think August was about 2.25 inches below what we should have in that month. So that's why we had the drought conditions returning.
Well, here we go as we look at our future radar. What a day we have. The clouds that are out there, mainly nice, call them fair weather cumulus is what we're going to develop. As it gets hot, the average high is in the mid 80s, something that might seem a little weird as, oh my gosh, it's so hot because the last week and a half have been absurdly cool for late August and early September and very dry air. Well, now you're looking at just getting back to seasonable levels, but it does feel a little bit hotter than,
and muggier
would look at and be like, oh my gosh, well, that changed in a hurry.
Yes, it did.
That changed in a hurry.
This is the unfortunate thing for some of us. Others, though, obviously, with this being an overnight thing, not much complaint here, right? Shouldn't be impacting anyone's plans if you're talking overnight showers and storms. And again, we still need the rain around here. Those temperatures staying warm through the night, into the daytime hours going into Thursday, and that's where I think we're going to have much better rain chances coming back.
I think some of the storms tonight, while they're probably not going to be severe,
right?
You look at this and 2, 3, 4 in the morning, you're asleep, your kids are asleep, the dogs are trying to relax, and all of a sudden,
one of those that wakes you up in the middle of the night, the house rumbling.
Even if this line isn't formed the exact way that you're looking at right now, there's going to be clusters of lightning in there. So you wake up, you're somewhat alarmed. There's going to be some thunderstorms out there with this fast moving front moving in. Let's say generic timeline 2 in the morning through about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. There's going to be issues where the rain's the heaviest for people getting into work and school.
Yeah, and of course with the roads, even if the rain has come to an end, it's one of those where it's going to be very heavy rain. So I anticipate ponding on the roadways for a little bit. Just keep that in mind as you're heading into the work day. And then we could have some lingering showers and storms. The front doesn't pass through necessarily just one line. There could be some storms that reform behind it as well.
A little bit of back build there coming up 8 o'clock in the morning through around midday is the real surge. of cooler, drier air invades. It's going to be a day that's not like yesterday when we ended up getting to 88. It's not going to be a day like today when we get into the mid and maybe even briefly upper 80s, because we're going to be so much cooler as you check out these temperatures. Midday 60s and 70s, and not really moving much from that point on, even as we clear out. That chillier northwest wind that'll be breezy at times is going to be combined with temps in the low to mid 70s. So almost 10 to 15 degrees cooler, and it's that cooler, drier air hitting the warmth, the moisture, that's going to mean a few gusty storms late tonight, early tomorrow morning. And when we do a variation between what is classified as strong storms versus severe weather, there is a huge difference. Strong storm, burst of rain, lightning, winds 30, 40 miles per hour. Severe weather, by definition, winds gusting 58 miles per hour or greater. Hail that would be an inch in diameter or larger. If that would take place, it would most likely be brief. It would be very isolated.
Yeah.
Yesterday we had an isolated severe storm down in Adair County. There is a little jet stream wind to tap into, but I think most of the storms would be more of your rowdy, rambunctious, just loud storms.
And not to say that they can't be impactful, right? We've seen it happen before, where you get a strong storm that rolls through, and it's enough to knock down some tree branches, or maybe even a couple trees if the ground is inundated with water already. So we had some spots that picked up on quite a bit of rain. I know you were looking at the rainfall totals across the area. Were there some places that picked up on more than an inch of rain yesterday?
South of Madison, Trimble County, Henry County, Carroll County. It was the last storm that we had in the region last night. After the sun went down, it just sat there.
Yeah.
It was moving up the river towards Cincinnati. I was watching the Reds game last night, and that's where there were more than 2 inches of rain.
Yeah. I noticed quite a few storms didn't move much yesterday, and it seemed like they really got locked on some sort of small boundary and would form on something and then just keep dumping rain over and over in that area for about 2 hours and then would just fall apart.
They didn't move because there was nothing to push them along.
True.
It was, the jet streams with the front that moves in tonight, heading into tomorrow morning. Yesterday, I made a mention to Mike Marshall when he's going to the Louisville game Friday night. We were discussing how there's two cold fronts, and I said, well, even after this first round of rain, guess what? There's more.
Yep.
And this one's going to hit at some point Friday evening, overnight Friday into Saturday morning. And Matthew, we've seen some changes with the recent trends here.
This is the frustrating thing as a meteorologist sometimes, because last week we looked at it and saw this big push of cool air. We knew that there'd be some rain out ahead of it. It looked good. Like we thought this was going to be just one big push is how it appeared. And well, now it's kind of split into two. And that's something that you can't tell necessarily a week or a week and a half out. You get closer to it, the data starts becoming clearer. And it's definitely very obvious that there are two pushes, two different disturbances moving through. First, this cold front, and then kind of like a little clipper system almost.
I would say something to keep in mind it doesn't have to do with football, just anything that's going to be happening Friday night. There's going to be some storms on this next cold front, and some of those storms will be windy. Some of the storms will have rain rates that could be close to 2 inches per hour. And if you're at a game, even if you're not in that rain, if there's lightning within 10, sometimes 15 miles, if you can see it, you're not playing. They're gonna cancel things for a while, postpone it, depending on how it plays out. We're going to have to wait and see exactly how this line forms and get more specific between now and Friday evening. But there would be a lot of unhappy campers out at L&N Cardinal Stadium if we have to have a delay because of lightning. I mean, it could very well miss Louisville. Yeah. Maybe it hits Louisville and misses Scottsburg and down in Springfield, Kentucky. There's going to be a pretty good chance that there's a line forming at some point. So you have to remember, have patience, might have to be watching those lightning trackers and just sitting and waiting it out.
Yep. So
even if it doesn't rain.
At bare minimum, bring the rain jacket with you to the high school football games, the ponchos and things to the football game at L&N Stadium. But, it just be prepared for changes to come your way.
It's going to be pretty hot, too. Friday's high temperatures.
Yeah. It's a quick rebound.
85 to 90. That cold front's strong, and it will just pull up some heat, some humidity. So briefly hitting the mid to upper 80s Friday afternoon. And if it's not raining, if you're not near any of those cooler winds blowing out of the storms Friday evening, it's going to be pretty warm, 7, 8, 8:30, 9 o'clock. Now, if it's raining, the temperature is going to drop quite a bit, and we'll cool off through the 70s for the U of L game, from the 80s dropping into the 70s during that game. And then on Saturday, Matthew, we still have that cold front that's going to linger in the area. In Lexington, Ole Miss and UK playing, kickoff at 3:30. There might be a spotty shower at that point. Everything has been slower to move this through. Bloomington's all good. It's not raining there. Maybe tailgaters dealing with a shower 8, 9 in the morning, but pretty nice.
Look, and I got to talk about the irony of this. I had a fellow at church ask me about his daughter's wedding coming up this Saturday.
Oh.
He's like, you think it's going to be dry? And I said, we got this big cold front coming through. Again, we're a week out. Big cold front coming through. It'll clear everything for us, all the data points to it.
Trust me.
And he says, I'm just worried, what if it stalls out? And I said, this one looks like one fell sweep, but I'll text you. I kid you not. The next model run comes in. And I was like, hey, Dave, doesn't look good, buddy, but we're pretty early. We're still 6 days out. Let me just keep you updated on it. And of course, now it looks like it's stalling out. So I think I'm going to have to make him an honorary member of the team.
What time is the wedding? Is it late day, late afternoon?
I think it's in the afternoon.
At least there's still good.
There is hope. There is hope, but it's not as clear cut as it looked like earlier. So things change.
The lightning tracker that we have.
You just made this the other day, didn't you?
Check it out.
It's neat. I like this little thing. Go ahead, click through. So you see the showers and storms that are moving through overnight. Yes, you don't see the rain on the map right now, but you see the lightning activity. There is going to be energy with these storms. You go through Thursday afternoon, there could still be some lingering showers for the first half of the day, but it does look like the second half is much, much cleaner for us. Now, of course, heading into Friday, now we've got a round of showers and storms. Every model is going to say something slightly different here. Again, not one is going to be gospel truth, but it does look like that boundary gets here, that system, and once it does, things should be firing off. And there's a solid chance for showers, storms, some maybe on the strong side.
Yeah, and strong thunderstorms definitely in play. You usually don't get a lot of damage or anything unless a lightning strike would zap something. That I always think that is such an important facet of thunderstorms, because anyone that's has never taken meteorology classes, and you're just an average person checking out the weather, you could have 5 million lightning strikes in 2 minutes, and it would seem like the worst storm ever. But that doesn't classify
There may not be the
as
gusty
severe.
winds and the hail.
It has to be the wind, the hail, or tornadoes.
Yes.
To be classified as severe. But a lot of these will have quite a bit of lightning. You'll hear the rain pouring down, and you'll see some of the branches moving a little bit and the trees moving. There'll be some strong storms because this front is tapping into that cool air, that jet stream from Canada that will blow through and get everything to move on by, hopefully in time for that wedding.
I sure hope so. Dave, for you and the family, I hope so, buddy. So here's that high pressure system coming in behind this front. This now does look like it's going to clear things out for us. Jude, let's go to the next. We'll see if we can go further here. There you go. And you see that, yes, some lingering showers into Saturday. There is hope that the second half of the day is drier for us there, and that cool air starts to come in on the northeastern side of that area of high pressure, and it is going to be significantly cooler.
That's why we're going to hold on to a rain chance over in Lexington. That's around midday, but the showers could be there for the game, parts of the game anyway. UK, Ole Miss. What's UK like? Oh, I think they're about an 11-point underdog. They need this win. Their schedule's not getting any easier now, as we already have some SEC play. So this is going to be a tough one for the Wildcats. We'll see what happens. But the weather should be nice. Even if it does rain, it would more than likely be brief, and that front is going to skedaddle out of here. What I want to show you now is just from the Great Lakes to the Ohio Valley, Midwest, all the way down to the Gulf states. A general thinking with the upcoming rain amounts, a quarter to half inch. Now, this is coming at us in a piecemeal event, not all at once, and most of it will be quick hitting. I personally don't like to show you specific amounts that models print out county by county, because when thunderstorms are involved, you might as well throw it in the trash and start throwing darts, because it's not going to get it right. But you're going to find some of us, like last night, easily receiving more than an inch, maybe more than 2 inches of rain. That can happen.
Yeah.
When thunderstorms are involved with the weather equation, it changes everything. And Your place could be in that 2-inch heavy rain coming down. My place, which isn't that much farther away as the crow flies, nothing.
Yeah.
It happened to Candace last night. Myself and Lindsay and Chris Suter were discussing it, how it rained at our house, and she's right in the middle of all of us, and it was like, she's like, I got nothing.
Right. So like I was getting ready to go to a friend's house, and they're like, man, it's really raining hard over here, and I had absolutely nothing where I was at, and most of my trip over there was bone dry until I got into Bullitt County, and then there it was, all that rain. So
Which is good. 6 to 10 day outlook right there.
more rain in the forecast. So for folks that are tired of watering their lawns, you're probably going to be able to get a nice break here, not just this week, but even into next week as well. There's still the opportunity for more scattered showers and storms in the mix as well.
Probably worth mentioning that in this kind of weather setup that we are looking at with these two fronts, there's going to be some small gaps in there while the rain probabilities are pretty high, like 70% from tonight into tomorrow that it rains. And again, Friday night into Saturday morning, a 70% chance that it rains. There's going to be a few gaps in that line. This isn't a huge low pressure that's slowly moving through and can get everyone wet. So there'll be some disappointment.
Yeah.
You know, you have to brace for that. There's going to be a little disappointment in there.
And the cool air that comes in behind this one, again, I said it earlier, significantly cooler. I do think that it's going to set us up for some cooler time here. Now, I haven't looked at as much of the data as you have this morning. My focus is more on the rain than the temperatures, but the second half of the weekend, Sunday, should be a little bit down from where we're at Saturday.
Well,
Or
Saturday,
at least Friday for sure.
Saturday's much cooler. Some of us will begin in the 50s, only hit the 70s. Sunday, dry, sunny skies. Easily in the morning, some low 50s around Metro Louisville, and probably some 40s already in outlying areas. Light winds on Monday morning. There's going to be areas in the 40s, and then a slow creep up. We're going to be cooler than average from the weekend into the, first half of next week. But I was looking at like the 10 to 16 day outlook and starting to flip.
Yes.
I saw evidence of 90s. And
I told some folks that the other day.
Shocked. If you think you're going to go through September
Without
and not get some of that, especially as dry as it's been.
right.
Dry usually breeds heat. It's going to get hot again.
Right.
There'll be more days up around 90.
And Joel mentioned this weekend, he and I were talking. He was like, so it's the end of summer, right? And I was like, whoa, Labor Day weekend kind of marks the end of summer or the summer activities, but there's still a real shot at getting into the 90s.
Almost 40-50% of the time, even in the month of October, we'll have some spots touch 90 degrees. That's why if you're lucky enough to have a pool in your backyard, you're not shutting that bad boy down. Around here, you're good. You're good through September and even swimming in October on some of those.
I went this weekend up to Plainview, and the mayor was there, and she was like, do you think we should really shut down this pool? And I was like, yeah, I don't get to make those decisions, but whoever does, you can tell them there's still a shot that we've got lots of warm air coming in and folks will still want to enjoy it.
In our neighborhood, there's a lot of families that have pools. We are not one of them. So we'll sit there, look out the window over there.
Everyone else enjoying.
It's like,
you guys think you could spare a moment?
Good for you.
So we appreciate you guys tuning in for us on our first stream, and there are going to be a lot more of these in the future. Again, we just wanted to cover the rain chances that we have ahead of us here, how it's going to impact those high school football games, which we think that there will be impacts to that, college football games as well. So keep all of that in mind for you guys here.
One of those Matthew Wine smiles. Oh, look at that. Look at that face.
Oh, gosh. People are like, yeah, we'll never tune into him again.
One more.
Stop.